We're back. Time for the Politics Fix with syndicated columnist Kathleen Parker and Salat.com's editor-in-chief, Joan Walsh. I'm not sure you two are going to argue much, but let me tell you, I've never seen a stronger column in the newspapers than what I read this morning when I got up. And the reason I'm so glad Kathleen's joining us, Joan, is that she wrote this column basically backing up Senator George Voinovich of Ohio, saying the Republican Party, which has done pretty well over the last half century, has been basically getting destroyed by the right-wingers in the South. And we've talked a lot about the obsession with this birth movement down in birther thing down in the South and all the rest of the ethnic potential here. Here's a quote that really grabbed me. That same rage was on display again in the fall of 2008, but this time the frenzy was stimulated by a pretty gal with a mocking little wink. Sarah Palin may not have realized what she was doing, but Southerners weaned on Harper Lee heard the dog whistle. Kathleen, heard the dog whistle. Is Sarah Palin a poster girl for racism? Yes or no?
Not consciously.
Not consciously?
Not consciously. I certainly don't think Sarah Palin, knows anything about Harper Lee or this deep history in the South where you don't position a white woman and a black male and pretend like there's nothing happening there. There's a deep, deep history. That's why I mentioned, drop the Harper Lee in there. You know, you want to talk about the Southern strategy.
Well, it's like To Kill a Mockingbird. I just saw it again, one of the great movies ever, where the white woman claimed that she'd been, molested or whatever by this totally innocent black guy.
Right.
And she was believed for no reason.
Right.
Except she said so.
Right. Look, and please let me be really, really clear. I'm not saying Sarah Palin did that. I'm just saying that there's this subliminal level of communication that goes on. The Southern strategy has always been, well, since they stopped using the N-word and being explicit about what they're trying to do with race and creating this us versus them dynamic, it became increasingly vague through the years. You started talking about states' rights at a certain point, then you started talking about these wedge issues like gay marriage and on and on. But ultimately, it's always about an us and them dynamic.
Right.
And Sarah Palin's really very good at that. And she is, when she plays her populist role, there's no one better at it.
Is she connecting the dots, Joan, among Henry Louis Gates, the birther movement, the Sotomayor testimony and confirmation questioning? So tribalistic. There's no doubt about it. All that stuff has become very tribalistic, something we thought we'd begun to crack in this country. Is Sarah the dog whistle that says, yeah, that's what it's about?
I think Palin's overall message is one of us versus them. I think that she took the lead on the campaign trail, and you and I talked about it back in September and October, Chris, in really making Obama the other. She would literally say things like, we don't know enough about him. We're not sure where he's from. She would talk about the regular America, and palling around with terrorists. We've taken that apart. So she was the person, not John McCain. Maybe behind the scenes, the McCain people were encouraging her, but she had a real zest for it. She did it with a real zing and panache. She really, she had that visceral appearance of enjoying it when she was really saying some pretty hateful and not founded things. Barack Obama is one of us. He's very much so. The only thing different about him is he's black. He's our first black president. And, I think we've made enormous racial progress. I don't want to, and I know Kathleen doesn't want to overstate what's going on right now, but we're in a moment right now with the birthers, with the Gates, the reaction to the Gates affair, with the trashing of Sonia Sotomayor, and, even John McCain saying he's not going to vote for her, where the Republican Party seems to believe that its best route is tribalism and scaring people, whether they're scaring people about Obama's going to take away your health care, or they're scaring you about, we don't know what he's about, he's a Muslim, he's a socialist. It's fear. The tactic is fear and fear alone. And I loved Kathleen's column. It was awesome.
I'm struck by the fact that the numbers, these polls, this new poll that came out and showed that the Southerners, a majority of them are not willing to commit. A majority of Southerners, including blacks, obviously the blacks aren't part of this, I assume, don't have any reason to believe he's an American. They either don't believe it, or they're I mean, a majority of them are not willing to say, yeah, he's one of us.
Right. Well,
and the rest of the country's overwhelming 9 out of 10 say, sure, he's one of us. So why is the South alone in this regard? Not Northeast, not Midwest, not West, but the South stands out there uniquely and regionally and racially.
One word,
opposed
Chris,
to this guy.
One word: Confederacy. I mean, the South is I live there, okay, and I want to make that clear too, because I'm not bashing Southerners. I love the South, and I am a Southerner.
40% of those states like yours are black.
It's part of the history.
So it's the 60% that are white.
It's part of the culture to be secessionist and
like Rick Perry of Texas.
To always view the federal government as the enemy. And it's very, and yeah,
how about her? Well, Palin. Let's talk about Palin. Palin has attacked New York, Washington, Los Angeles. She just goes after the government, after the media, after Hollywood.
Yeah.
Anything that's on the coast is evil to her. Well, she's an Alaskan who I'll bet you any money is going to spend most of her time down in the middle parts of the country, the rural white parts. She's going to find those cul-de-sacs of whitedom and exploit the hell out of them.
But wasn't she in New York last night at Michael's, the big media and celebrity?
That's to get, because she's got a lawyer who's smart enough, Robert Barnett, to take her to the one place she's going to get a hell of a lot of publicity.
Right, but Michael's is empty these days.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody's canceled.
The media downturn.
You are tough.